should we go ahead and get started? I know it's 10:30 and we have a lot to go over. Well, thank you everyone for attending our session on employee engagement, a topic that we're really excited in. My name is Tara McNerney and I'm the U.S. Food Waste Pact and Pacific Coast Food Waste Commitment Lead at the World Wildlife Fund. And this is Riley, my 2-month-old. I'm hoping she's not going to try and lead this panel with me, but just be a innocent bystander listener. Okay, that's our goal here. But so today we're diving into employee engagement, a topic that is so important, right? As we all know, because you can have all the greatest corporate policies at the top in the world, but if you don't have the buy-in really at the ground level, then those policies aren't going to get implemented, right? And so it takes getting those folks who are stocking the shelves at the retail level or placing the orders or managing the kitchens or the manufacturing lines. It really takes empowering them and getting them to see their role and getting their buy-in to really see the food waste reduction and recovery efforts take place. And so we have a great lineup of speakers here today. We're going to hear from a wide variety of sectors. We are going to hear from John Bernardo from Albertsons, the retail perspective, and how they got the feedback from frontline employees. We're going to hear from Shiyang Li, who's here from Beijing, to tell us about her work with the Center for Behavior, RARE's Center for Behavior, their work with the hospitality sector. And then we're going to hear also from Ana Cueva from Fresh Del Monte and Erika Covington, who I've worked with through the Pacific Coast Food Waste Commitment and have replicated the same model of an employee engagement pilot that they actually learned of from Bob's Red Mill, another member of the PCFWC. And so it's been really this kind of magical moment in which they learned about the pilot through a sector summit that we did with the PCFWC and wanted to run it in their own operations. So I'm excited for you to hear about how that went in their different environments. And so kind of the format we're going to follow here today. It's okay, I know I'm speaking loud. The format we're going to follow is the speakers are going to each speak for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have questions all at the end, and we're going to mainly focus on audience questions, so I don't want to take up too much of the time with my voice, but so be ready with your questions at the end, please. And so with that, I think I'm going to introduce our first speaker. So Erika Covington is a supply chain sustainability manager at Land O'Lakes, and she leads carbon accounting and Land O'Lakes' strategic roadmap to meet their 2030 greenhouse gas, water, and waste targets. All right, thank you, Erika.
All right. Good morning, guys. My name is Erika Covington, Supply Chain Sustainability Manager with Land O'Lakes. And I'm super excited to get to be here today to talk to you guys about how Land O'Lakes is leveraging its incredible employee base to be a powerful strategic partner in our food waste journey. When I first mentioned Land O'Lakes, you guys probably immediately think of our butter. That's usually the most popular and famous of our products. But we do also make several different types of dairy products, including the cheese powders that go on Cheetos and Doritos, if you've had those recently. In addition to our dairy foods business, we do also have 3 other diverse agribusinesses. So we have our Purina Animal Nutrition business that has some pretty famous customers like America's Zoos and the Disney World Parks. We have our Winfield United organization that looks at crop inputs and agronomy service centers. And we also have our Truterra business, which is the sustainability arm of Land O'Lakes. And Truterra seeks to transition America's farmlands and acreage to more sustainable ag practices in a way that's economically feasible for farmers. And so it's a very cool company that I have the honor of getting to work for and with. And as a food production company, we have touch points from farm to fork. So food waste and being responsible about our food waste journey is incredibly important to us. Back in 2020, Land O'Lakes joined the United Nations, the US government, and probably many of you folks as companies out in the audience, in setting 2030 sustainability goals. We set 14 ESG goals, one of which was a food waste goal to reduce our food waste from operations 30% by 2030. Just a peek under the hood, usually our food waste is generated in our dairy foods division, and it comes from, unsold finished goods that are in our warehouses. And those have historically been very difficult to resell or to donate because they have such a short life. They're very perishable. And so the process of getting that into the hands of someone hungry has complexities associated with it, and often there are casualties of the process that come in the form of food waste. And so last year, Land O'Lakes partnered with a company called Spoiler Alert, who's actually here at Refed, so if you see them around, definitely engage with them. But they helped us to streamline our operation, our warehousing operation, such that when food comes up, we're able to very quickly get it into the hands of someone in need, right, through community banks and community food banks in the communities where we operate. And so through that partnership with Spoiler Alert, Land O'Lakes is proud to report that we've moved over 3.6 million pounds of product to community food banks last year, and we want to continue to lean into that partnership with the Spoiler Alert team. We do also have internal initiatives around food loss and waste. Our supply chain and planning team is revisiting our inventory targets for our retail and food service portfolio to ensure that we're mitigating our food waste as much as possible. We have aims to reduce our aged dairy foods product by about 1 million pounds annually. Land O'Lakes is a farmer-owned cooperative, so we have about 9,000 employees globally, and we find it very, very important for employees to have an avenue that they can plug in and engage on sustainability. And so 2 ways that we do that internally are through our Sustainability Champions competition, where manufacturing facilities, in particular our dairy plants, nominate themselves and each other for different sustainability projects that they've done. Those projects often have a food waste bin and are aimed at making our dairy manufacturing more efficient. The other thing that we have in place is our green team, and they're an action-oriented employee resource group who's aimed at helping employees engage in food loss and waste and how they can make a change in it personally, professionally, and in the communities where they live. And so it's a great landing stage for our employees to get engaged internally, but there's a big part of our workforce who doesn't sit at that corporate level, right? We have a big manufacturing employee workforce. And so as we continue to explore our food waste journey and what we were doing, we said, how can we make sure that we're bringing everyone along, like Tara mentioned, getting that buy-in from our workforce? So Land O'Lakes has participated with the PCFWC, Pacific Coast Food Waste Commitment, a group that's aimed at targeting food waste in businesses that operate on the West Coast. And so through that group, we participated in a manufacturing working group where manufacturers would come together, trade strategies, trade common challenges, and discuss how we were moving along our food waste journey. In that process, we saw Bob's Red Mill had implemented a very successful employee engagement campaign, and Land O'Lakes said, hey, we want to give it a shot too, right? And so in 2023, we implemented a case study that I'm very excited to share with you guys that looked at leveraging our employee engagement to reduce waste and create a lasting culture of sustainability for our Cozy Shack division. So at our Turlock, California plant, we aimed to do a couple of things. So first we needed to train the employees and level set on how does Land O'Lakes look at food waste, why is it important, why is it critical to our nation, why is it a priority? And one of the, we wanted to make sure that the employees felt included and it was an inclusive process, right? Our Turlock, California facility has an employee base who primarily have Spanish as their first language. And so we created video resources and training resources that were bilingual so that it was inclusive and made everyone feel like they could participate regardless of what those materials we were disseminating were. We trained over 78% of our employee population on that video, and afterwards held a competition where employees were asked to stage ideas around how we as a company or we as a plant could get better in food loss and waste. You can see there on the bottom left some of the absolutely adorable materials that were put together by a key partner in the process, Triple Win. Triple Win is a group of sustainability consultants. We have Amy Hall here from the group in the audience. And they help to make it fun and engaging and exciting for our employees. And so throughout that process, they expressed that they felt like we were engaging with them and it made them excited about the process of identifying sources of food loss and waste. Once we staged all of our ideas, we created what's called a food waste opportunity register. And that register is essentially just a long list of places where our employees had recommended we take a look at different processes and mechanisms that they thought were producing food loss and waste. And we wanted them to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we were listening to them and hearing what they had to say. And so at the end of the pilot period, we actually went and grabbed an opportunity and sought to implement it. So the opportunity that we implemented was around a spatula mechanism. So if anybody's like me, I love brownies. I make them all the time. So when you make brownies and you kind of have to scrape it out into your pan, you use a spatula that has a latex tip on it, right? And that latex tip makes sure that it's a really clean swipe and you get all that good batter out of there. And if you're like me, you kind of eat the rest of it at the end, right? Well, think about that at an industrial scale. That's exactly what the recommendation from one of our employees was, right? They were like, just like when you're making brownies, it's the same concept. You guys are using a piece of, a tip to that scraper that is not getting a clean swipe of all that material out, and what it resulted in was small amounts or trace amounts of our condensed milk being left in the container and ultimately going to landfill. And so what they said is switch it out. It was a $100 switch, very, very cheap for the plant, and reduced our food waste on the condensed milk line from 1.69% to 0.43%. So a 74% reduction in food waste on our condensed milk line, just from a small employee suggestion that cost $100. So a really powerful story and an example of how those small suggestions from your employees can also go a long way because they know your operations, right? And oftentimes they take a lot of pride in the work that they're doing day to day. And so they know where you can get better, right? So a couple of takeaways from the process. One is that it's important to see your employees as partners in the journey. To make the progress that you need to make, you got to have that buy-in. And I think a lot of times folks focus on getting the buy-in and support from leadership, which is awesome and incredibly important, right? You can't do much without that buy-in from leadership. But really bringing your employees along with you, right? The feedback that we got traditionally a lot of the times was, that's great, Land O'Lakes has those sustainability goals, but what does that have to do with me? At the end of the day, I'm concerned with feeding my family. I'm concerned with going home safely. I'm concerned with the longevity of our planet so that my kids have a good place to live. And so the training and the pilot really helped generate that understanding that there's broader benefits to this food waste journey that impact you and impact your families that we can all work together and work shoulder to shoulder on. The second takeaway is that when you set culture as a company, that culture will propagate itself as long as you're a good steward of that culture. And so in generating this project at the Cozy Shack facility, we're hearing anecdotally where our employees are self-governing on food waste opportunities that we haven't even formally implemented from the case study. So they're saying, hey, watch out, make sure you plug that. That could be food waste, right? They're saying, be careful of that, watch out for that, without us even asking. And so it just goes to show that they really care, take pride in what they do, and that culture will stick if you're a good steward of it and push it in your facilities, right? And the last one is just a learning from a leadership perspective as the implementer of this project. A lot of times we struggle to say, hey, here's the true value in this stuff, right? ESG has that feel-good component to it, but a lot of times we're talking to business and finance folks about this stuff as sustainability professionals. And so the project turned out, we had about a $3,500 savings per year, which netted out to about more than $20,000 over the course of us pursuing our sustainability targets. And so in a climate where I'm usually going to my bosses and giving them a big bill to say how we want to get to our ESG goals, this is something that's going to actually provide returns over the course of our ESG journey. And so leveraging that messaging that this stuff has a real role to play in the profitability of our company and the efficiency of our operations as well was a really big galvanizing factor that helped us get that top to bottom alignment amongst our group. So overall, it was an awesome project. I could probably talk to you guys about this stuff all day, but I'll stop there. I do want to give a big, huge thank you to the PCFWC, Tara McNerney and Alex Villanueva, who were big supporters for us during the process. The Triple Win Group, Amy Hall and Kate Gartner, were incredible and did a lot of really cool work and cool materials with our plants. They asked you guys to come back. We were like, we'll see. But yeah, so just a really awesome opportunity, and just want to thank ReFed for having us here to chat about our case study with you guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Erica. Yeah, it was such an inspiring project to watch and be a part of. And just putting a plug that the case study actually just went live on the Pacific Coast Food Waste Commitment website yesterday. So be sure to go check out the website to read the full case study on Erica's project, as well as the original Bob's Red Mill pilot project that it was inspired from. So next up, we're going to have Ana Cueva from Fresh Del Monte Produce speak. She's the Sustainability Global Program Manager and a leader of socio-environmental programs and ESG reporting within the organization. And as I mentioned before, it was at this virtual sector summit that Erica and Ana and Bob's Red Mill were a part of, and both Ana and Erica said, hey, we want to do that pilot project too. So really cool to hear how it manifested in kind of the dairy sector and produce sector as well. But thank you so much, Ana.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure for me to be part of this beautiful activity and be able to share this important panel with all my colleagues here. Very quickly, I want to mention that Fresh Del Monte joined these alliances with the Pacific Coast Food Waste Commitment, the WWF, and ReFed since 2022. And this has been a very interesting journey, and we're learning a lot. Also, we saw this important case study from Bob Red Mills about the employee engagement project, and we decided to do something similar in one of our facilities here in North America. But very, very quickly, I just wanted to mention some key achievements around our company. So first, Fresh Del Monte is one of the world's leading vertically integrated producers, marketeers, and distributors of fresh produce, fresh cut fruits and vegetables. We currently have more than 80 countries where our products are available, and we operate in more than 21 countries worldwide. Another important fact is about 88% of our products are certified as sustainable, grown by a third party, and we support our employees and the communities surrounding. That's why we have more than 300 programs around the world. And actually, one of the programs that we have is the Del Monte Zero pineapple. So we are offering a carbon neutral pineapple that is sold here in the US and also in Europe. And very related to this project, we also planted more than 2 million trees since 2016, and we are very close to reach our goal to planting 2.5 million by the year 2025. And last but not least, in 2022, 93% of our food waste was diverted from landfill. And what has Fresh Del Monte done to achieve these important results? Well, basically, one of the countries in which we operate is Costa Rica, basically because we produce bananas, pineapples, and melons there. And of course, as part of our production process, we generate organic waste, not only in the field, but also in the packaging process. So that's why one of the company's initiatives was to invest in our own juice plant that receive 100% of the bananas and pineapple that are not exported to produce juices that we can utilize for other byproducts and uses in other areas like bakery, nectars, smoothies, even perfumes and candies. Also related to this, since 1988, Fresh Del Monte established a frozen plant in Costa Rica as well that again uses bananas and pineapples to offer different frozen products as well. And also here in North America, in our ports operations, we have a very important group of people that we actually call it the community support leaders, and they do a great job every day to coordinate the food donations to different food banks. They also are in touch with other facilities as well to do the same thing and replicate this effort in other areas. At the farm levels, we also have some composting programs, and the teams sell different organic waste to third parties for animal feed feed, and industrial uses as well. But basically related to our employee engagement project, we started this initiative in one of our fresh cut operations located in Portland, Oregon. Some key general information related to this facility: we have around 19 Fresh Del Monte employees, and between 80 and 90 employees are from an external staffing agency. And they also have very robust programs around food donations. They also deliver some organic waste to external companies that develop composting, and they also sell this organic waste to ranchers for animal feed. And same as Land O'Lakes, thanks to this great initiative, we already have a beautiful educational food waste video in both languages as well, in Spanish and also in English. And it has only been shown to Portland employees, but our intention is to share these important materials with other facilities as well, not only here in the US, but also in other regions as well. We also established the famous Gemba Walks, and probably you heard about this concept in the past, but basically those are facility walkthroughs to observe daily practices. So the intention to this visit is to see firsthand the food waste that is produced during the processes and look for ways to improve and reduce that food waste that is generated through the process. The employees also will work individually to submit food ideas, and each idea will be a puzzle piece reveal. And we are also using a huge, large puzzle wall banner, and we are going to share progress every week with everyone. And also we are including some colorful images and sustainability message around this project. And also each week, one or multiple champion puzzles will receive special prizes because of those ideas. So at the end of the day, we are going to generate as well a case study related to this important project. And we are actually working also with Triple Win to do a final video with some reflections or learnings experience from the employees, because we think this is a very important case study that we want to share with the rest of our team internally. So this is a very nice project and very different from what has been done in Fresh Del Monte in the past. We don't have the final results yet, but we are getting there. So our intention is to finish this initiative in August, and like I said before, be able to share it with other facilities in the short term. We received very good, positive thoughts about this project. The employees are super motivated around this. So yeah, this is where we are. And if I have a couple of minutes more, yeah, just wanted to wrap up my presentation here today, just sharing with all of you our vision towards the future in terms of what more we can do to take advantage of the organic waste that is generated in our facilities. So it's that for that reason the Fresh Del Monte has ventured into making some strategic alliances with external companies. So we recently started a partnership with Belsang Materias Bioactivas, and we are operating under the name of Delora Bio. So this collaboration starts with the inauguration of biofertilizer plant in Kenya. So this new plant is located very close to our facility there in Kenya, and we'll use residues from the company's pineapple cannery to create different types of biofertilizers. So, of course, our intention is to use this biofertilizer in our own operations, but also have the opportunity to sell it to other growers in Kenya as well. And last but not least, we also have a partnership with the University of Granada in Spain. And this partnership will investigate how bioactive compounds from residues of different fruits can be used for medical and non-medical purposes. So this is our approach to the future, which is, of course, supported by the company's senior executives led by our chairman, Mr. Abu Ghazali. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. I love that concept of the champion puzzlers and how each employee idea became a puzzle piece that was, a visual for all employees to see. Really creative, really fun. And that's kind of keeping it fun, right? Erika found that too. It was important to have it, keep it fun, keep it a little bit competitive with prizes for the employees. But next we're going to turn to John Bernardo from Albertsons to get the retail perspective. So John is a sustainability strategist at Albertsons, and he directs the company-wide efforts to promote edible food donations and divert inedible food waste from landfills. He's promoted sustainability and resource conservation for 30 years in retail, medical, and small business settings. So thank you so much, John.
Thank you, and good morning. And I thought I would take a different approach. I thought about this on the way over from the hotel this morning. So,
These are not his slides.
no. I would have a puzzle up here if I had done that. So, employee engagement. I want to just talk a little bit about it first, then I will get into some retail examples. But it really, it begins with reaching out to people and making them feel comfortable. So you have to be sincere, and you need to show respect. I'm sure I'm telling you things you already know, but I recently resigned as a professor, an adjunct professor at Boise State, and I would teach a business class, and it's amazing, but we would go over interview skills. And they said, nobody's taught me how to interview. And one of the first things I told them is when you meet people, when you sit down, you won't be up here. When you sit down, when you meet people, you need to look them in the eye, right? Except here's the problem. People have surgery on their faces. Some people have a lazy eye. There may be whatever, and you get distracted. So you look people in the bridge of the nose. I've learned that's what works. And if I'm looking you in the bridge of the nose, you think I'm looking at you in the eyes, which is ideal. But I'm not distracted by anything. And that means the listener is going to listen to what I have to say more because they feel like I'm at their level. And that's really important. You need to be sincere. You need to show respect. And I say this because I'm the guy from corporate who walks into the store. So I'm immediately the heavy. And I have to break that down quickly. And so I normally look for things that I can relate to my colleague with. Maybe they've got something on that's their favorite team, or I don't know, a color, whatever. I don't focus on piercings. I don't focus on tattoos. Those are really personal things. But I will focus if they've got a Baltimore Ravens jacket on or something, because you can wear that. Okay, well then, how did they do last weekend? It's just anything to just kind of get the conversation going. You have to be patient too, because I will reach out and ask an employee a question, and there's a pause. And man, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you feel like you have to endure that pause. And what I'm saying is you should embrace the pause, because they're checking you out. They're thinking about their answer, but they also want to see, are you going to just keep talking? So you just asked me a question, but you really didn't wait for me to answer it. You just lost them. You just lost them. So these are just some suggestions that I found. It seems to work. And if you shake hands, I know I'm old school, but if you shake hands, make sure you shake hands with the same force, no matter who the person is, their sex, their size, whatever. It's noticed. It really is. And again, it's just that respect thing. So if I do that, and I'll tell you, when I visit a store in whatever city, the word is already getting out that this guy from corporate is in town. So beware, he may come to your store next. What I hope they then say is, he's not so bad. Because that makes it easier for me. And what am I really trying to do? Am I going to the store to tell them how to do something? No. I'm asking them, how is it going? We've got this corporate program on food donations. Are the guidelines good enough? Do you understand what you need to do? And I'm going to get into a project that I'm very proud to say we just finished with my colleagues here at the Mid-Atlantic Division, Johns Hopkins University, and the Maryland Institute College of Art. But first, I'm going to tell you a real employee engagement story in a retail setting that relates to food waste. Oh my gosh, I think I hit them all there. So when I first worked for Albertsons years ago, we had a ice cream plant where we made premium ice cream, and it was our own brand. And I love ice cream, so I would go to the plant once in a while, and it was neat because they had a manufacturing floor with an assembly line, and they packaged the ice cream. It came through these stainless steel pipes, and one day they were packaging vanilla ice cream, and then the line stops. And it was abrupt, and I turned to one of the floor employees and said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we have to switch out flavors. So now we have to clear the lines of vanilla ice cream and bring in chocolate." How do you do that? Well, we push water through the line to get rid of the vanilla, and it goes to sewer, and then we have to switch the packaging, and then we bring the chocolate in. And then the employee went on to say, which I think is really stupid, because I just got done packaging premium vanilla ice cream, and now I'm using city water to put it down the drain. And I said, "Yeah, what are you suggesting?" He said, "Can't we push the vanilla out with the chocolate?" Oh my gosh, what a concept. So I go get the ice cream plant manager, Connell Lloyd, I do remember his name, and it's like, "Hey Connell, do you have the specifications on all of your stainless steel piping?" "Yes." We sat down, did a little math, based on this employee's suggestion, started to push the chocolate ice cream through the line, and we figured out that in order to get nothing but pure chocolate ice cream, you have to make 80 half-gallons of a mixture of vanilla and chocolate. Premium ice cream, don't know what it looks like, don't know what it's going to taste like, because I don't know how much chocolate's in there or how much vanilla. 2 weeks later, the Odds and Ends brand was created. And Connell changed his order of packaging ice cream, so it was vanilla, then chocolate chip, because those go together, then banana. Now, once you hit Neapolitan and strawberry, all bets are off, and you're back to shoving the line down. But at least you made an improvement, and this employee just glowed. And there was one store in town that got all the Odds and Ends ice cream, and they sold that every week. Now, here's the retail side. The half-gallon of vanilla, the half-gallon of chocolate, $2.99 a half-gallon. The Odds and Ends, our waste product, 99 cents. And kids would, and this store director, boy, did he know how to market. He took an end cap, which are one of those frozen food aisles, well, not aisles, but a section right across from the checkout. And the kids waiting in line with their parents said, "I want to know what that looks like. I want to know what it tastes like." And it was only 99 cents. Sold out. Well, as happens in corporate America, the Dean's Foods bought the dairy plants and the ice cream plant, took it all to Dallas, didn't understand the process, nixed it. So that's the sad part of the story, except some pretty good entrepreneurs in New England by the name of Ben and Jerry. They picked up on the concept, and to this day, they still mix a few flavors like that. That's employee engagement. That's a great food waste story, and it kind of captures it. So what I want to tell you about in the few minutes I have left is about this initiative that Albertsons, Safeway, Johns Hopkins, Maryland Institute College of Arts did on employee engagement. How do we engage employees in our stores and basically ask them to tell us how to make food waste diversion better and improve our food donation program? We gave a tour of this a couple days ago at our Boston Street store. It was one of the Tuesday tours. James, Jordan, Caitlin, Steph, they were all part of it. And what I saw is engaged employees who were part of this project, who were so proud that they got to show off the improvements they recommended and they instituted in their departments: meat and seafood, produce, deli. It was pretty cool. The other thing that I'm going to say, and just to his embarrassment, is my colleague James Walden, who's now at the division level, used to be a store director. And he walks into that store where he was a director, and people are sincerely happy to see this guy. So he knows employee engagement. There's no doubt about it. So what I also have learned is that when you're trying to engage an employee, and who wouldn't want to donate food, right? And who doesn't believe in diverting food waste? But you can't just assume that that's the case. So I go up and I will talk with an employee, and I have to quickly figure out the interest point. Do they want to donate food because they care about neighbors of the store? Maybe they used to rely on a food bank and they get it. And we have a lot of colleagues who did, and I assume some still do. They rely on a food bank, not because we don't pay well, because they're feeding a lot more than 2 or 3 people in their homes. So maybe the social aspect is the point of interest. Maybe it's the environmental aspect. Hey, I don't want this food going to the landfill because I know it breaks down and contributes to climate change. Maybe it's the financial. And you may laugh and say, come on. But yes, our chief operating officer, her name is Susan Morris, she started as a clerk at a store in Colorado and worked her way up through the company and has thought of the financial aspect the whole way. So you do have some employees who really care about, it's cheaper to give to a food bank than it is to send to a landfill. But you won't know that until you engage with them and ask. But once you have that point of interest, you're in. You just have to deliver the message and listen, and they'll give you some terrific feedback for sure. 1 minute, okay. So Albertsons has started an associate resource group in each of the divisions where if people are interested in topics of DEI or environmental, some people call it the green group, there's employee engagement groups on all kinds of topics, but the one on sustainability is growing, and that's because people are interested. And I can just say what we learned from this study at Johns Hopkins and MICA is employees want direction, but man, they want it to be consistent. They want corporate to say the same thing that the division and the store say. And they want to know that corporate is bought into it. And we're not doing it, and we say to do it, but we don't really care about it. They're sharp, they're front line. And when this report comes out in about a month, I think you'll all benefit from reading it, and I look forward to implementing it. So thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, John. And yeah, really excited to read that report, and I know plenty of other companies are as well, to be able to learn from the wisdom that you gained there. So thank you. Next and last, we have Shiyang Li, who is the founder of the Rare Center for Behavior in Beijing, China. Shiyang has been instrumental in leading the Pride on Our Plates project, funded by the EU, which has empowered hundreds of restaurants across China to combat food waste through the strategic application of behavioral science. So, Shiyang.
Yeah. Thank you, Tara, and thank you, REFED, for this amazing opportunity. So first, let me briefly talk about RARE. RARE is a world-leading behavior change organization in the environment. Over the past 40 years, RARE has run behavior change campaigns, more than about 500 behavior change campaigns in nearly 60 countries. On average, where our behavior change campaign increased behavior adoption by 18 percentage points. And RARE has a Center for Behavior and the Environment focused on supporting RARE and other organizations build behavior science into their work. And I myself has been working with RARE for 17 years and applying behavior science in hundreds of thousands of communities in China to addressing the critical environmental challenges. Since 2020, we have been working with Chinese partners on a project called Pride on Our Plate to support the Chinese restaurant to reduce the food waste, working with their restaurant staff, applying behavior insights. But if you ask me what I have learned in my past 17 years at RARE, there's one thing I like to tell you is everyone needs to learn behavior science, because whatever you do at home or at work is all about changing behavior for someone at somewhere. But changing behavior, it is so hard. Most people doesn't do it properly. And there are three common tactics that most people use driving people's behavior. First, paying them, as we say, material incentive. And secondly, telling them, as we're providing information. And the last one is stop them by making regulations and rules. It is the same case in the restaurant business. Like in China, when we conduct the research on the restaurant business post-pandemic, most restaurants in China is striving to survive. So control food costs became a top priority for the Chinese restaurant business owners. According to our research, 97% of their restaurant employees think it is important to reduce food waste in their restaurant business. However, the staff doesn't take action. So the managers at those restaurants, what they do is they're providing the bonus to staff, and they build that into KPI of staff performance, and they organize all kinds of training. But they find out it doesn't really work as much as they expected, and a lot of staff, they just quit their job, and they easily just get to another restaurant. So why this three common approach doesn't work? Because behavior science tells us when you're making decisions, our brain actually have a two system. One system is rational system. People weighing and calculating and also compare the pros and cons. And another system is automatic system. And the brain making decision automatically without even, sometimes you don't even aware. As we can see, these three common tactics mostly working for the rational system, but it doesn't go well with the automatic system. So is there any other tactics that work better for this automatic system? Here we have another three innovative levers we'd like to share with you. First, leverage the power of emotion like pride or guilt or fear. They can drive in people's behavior. Secondly, people are all humans, social animals, and using the power of social influence. I really like John's story just now about like how you observe the other people doing and what a powerful impact on the behavior change of your staff. And the last one is called choice architecture. Is people making behaviors is also depending on the context. How we create a context that make it easier for people to change behavior without even realize that. But now we have these three levers. It's still quite abstract. So how do we use this lever to help mobilize the employees in the Chinese restaurant? Let me give you an example. So since 2020, we conduct the research on many Chinese restaurants on how their behavior, how their employee behavior in their kitchen. We find out there are more than 10 different positions in the Chinese restaurant, and every position has very different behavior patterns. And when the staff was told what to do, told to reduce food waste, sometimes they don't know exactly what they need to do. So we create a set of behavior intervention toolbox containing more than 20 tools for the restaurant to use. So here is just one tool I wanted to take it as an example. It's called Staff Commitment Wall. So this tool will help the restaurant staff to easily identify simple actions related to their daily work. And we use social and peer pressure to reinforce their staff commitment. And also we publicize their achievement to make them feel proud. So here is a 30-second video clip. We can show you how this works in reality.
比如说专门设计了一个员工承诺墙，结合了非常多的这种行为科学的要素在里面，让大家觉得减少浪费是一个让我感到骄傲的事情。第二呢，我们让这个员工呢，那他找到这个他愿意去做的事儿以后，他在这个上面去签字，这是他的一个承诺，而且是他想要去做的事情。
承诺墙写出来以后呢，他们会把它践行到自己的工作当中去，也认为企业对自己是很重视的，引发了他们自己本身一个自我改变。
Just using these single behavior intervention tools, according to our data, staff taking actions increased by 27%. Now we have been working with 20 restaurants in China and run a pilot project. So far, according to our data shows, on average, our pilot restaurant reducing food waste by 23% in the period over 10 weeks. So we now have evidence about how we can use behavior interventions to empower the staff in the restaurant, and we like to scale this up in the wider range in China. And also in the US, our US team is working with multinationals and brands in food business. For example, we're working with Google to help them to implementing the behavior science into Google Cafe to achieve the good result. So really wanted to share with you about this opportunity. And if you are interested, reach out to me or visit behavior.rare.org. You can find more cases and the toolbox. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. And everyone here on the panel could have spoken, had their own session, I think. But thank you all so much for sharing this really wide array of impressive employee engagement tactics. So she's being my timekeeper here and chirping at me that, okay, we need to get to audience questions now. So we're going to use the microphone in the middle of the room because we are recording this session. So folks, please, if you have a question, help yourself right up there. Yes, I know you have one too, but we're going to let others talk first. So, and yeah, go right ahead. Feel free to even kind of make a line, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question to John. First, I need to introduce myself. I'm coming from Turkey. I work for the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, and we are running a campaign to reduce food loss and waste nationally with the help of FFAO. I have a question. It's a problem, actually, which we couldn't find an answer. I know it's going to be maybe a hard question for you, but I trust your experience. We have nationwide discount markets, supermarkets, and we talked to the CEO of the supermarket to sell some perishable food for discounted prices. His answer was, if I do that, my employees, which has thousands of discount shops, my employees will keep this, perishable food, like I'm talking about cheese and maybe meat in the bag. So when it is going to be sold out, discounted, they will call their neighbors, relatives, and everyone to buy it for discounted prices. So it will be a kind of an economic loss for me, and I won't do that. Otherwise, I will choose to, dump it or donate it to the food bank, if possible. But I'm not going to sell it for discounted prices because he's not trusting his employees. So, and I'm not very sure that they are donating to the food bank because it's all another aspect, so they are just dumping it. As I said, I know that it's a hard question, but what will come to your mind if you were in the shoes of the CEO, would you consider a different solution for this? Thank you very much.
Well, good morning to you too. So what comes to mind are a couple things. One, different perspective. Is it really bad that the employees are going to call their family and friends and say, come in? Okay, you're getting traffic in the store. Now, it's not fair that only employees get first dibs on the discounted items. I totally agree. I love the fact that the other alternative is to donate it to those in need at no retail value. So I'm thinking, if you want to get the CEO to at least consider doing this, I would say 1 or 2 days a week you mark it down for sale, and the other days it's donation, but you don't advertise which day it is. And that will force people to come into the store to see whether the discount's there or not. While they're there, hopefully they'll still buy something. And if it is that day, terrific. If it isn't, then you communicate that, no, we chose to give to people in the neighborhood who are in need, but we may have that discount available tomorrow. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Hi, good morning. I'm Dave Lampert from Food Rescue US. Thank you so much. Great panel. Really appreciate your sharing some wonderful success stories. I'm wondering if any of you would be willing to share a less than success story, something that seemed like a good idea at the time that you tried that ended up not working out as planned.
Wow, that's a hard one. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example. Golly, I'm stumped. Something that we tried to implement that just wasn't successful in the food waste space.
Well, Erika, I'm thinking about in the pilot, at first when we were trying to get employee ideas at the Turlock facility, it was like we weren't getting to the targets that you were wanting, right?
Right.
And so then having to talk to the plant managers, maybe you can tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, that is a good example, Tara. So we thought that we were just going to get bombarded with opportunities when we first started the case study, and it seemed to be a little quiet. And we found that there were a couple of things that were driving influences for that. One is we had initially leaned strongly into our digital strategy, right, and having employees type in their ideas or submit their ideas digitally via a website. We actually found that the manual analog box that we put out, that employees could physically write things down, once we kind of got that in place, we got a slew. In fact, most of our opportunities, we identified over 277 of them. Most of them came through that manual analog box. And so it kind of brought forth to us this idea. We always think, especially in the corporate world, we're transitioning away from spreadsheets, we're getting into cloud-based platforms and, this very complex technological stuff, right? But there's something to be said about, getting shoulder to shoulder and doing something in an analog way that seemed to have just gained more traction for us with our employee base. So it was a good learning from the process.
Thank you.
100%.
Just very quick from my side, we saw something similar in our fresh cut operation because at the first time we started with this food waste challenge, we received a lot of good ideas of what the people can do in our own homes, right, about how to reduce food waste, which those are very good, but was not so related to the production process. So that was a misunderstanding that we experienced at the first stages of of this initiative, but later on we received some very good insights about the main goal that we have through this project.
Yeah, and also like to share, since we're working with about 20 restaurants, so every restaurant has their own situation. Some restaurant is a chain store, some restaurant is very small, someone is a hotel cafe. So in the beginning, we tried to introduce those behavior intervention tools. We asked them to select from this over 20 tools for them to implement. And then after a few weeks, we follow up with them. And in some restaurants, we find out that they probably don't understand those tools very well. So it's really affect how they implement this. So then we change our strategy. We work with them together to talk to all their team members about what this tool, how this tool was used, and show positive example from other restaurants and how they use this. So in the restaurant business, I find it's very competitive and they don't want to lose. So at the moment they say, oh, this is some other restaurant doing like this, they all want to ask, oh, how we are doing comparing to other doing. So I think it's interesting learning that using this kind of lever to motivate the restaurant to perform the best of their performance. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Clark with the National Restaurant Association, and thank you all for the great examples. I really appreciate the insights that you're giving. A question for the whole panel, as you move past the low-hanging fruit, so the scraper that costs $100 and had a great return on investment, as you're getting away from that into the more expensive, more labor-intensive, more complex issues, how are you changing your tactics and communication strategy for both employees and the boardroom?
Yeah, we could start. I'd say, honestly, that I don't think, I think consistency of messaging, that this has always been important to us, from that $100 spatula up to a $100,000 implementation project. It's all very important to us, and it's something that we're willing to dedicate our time and energy to. A lot of times we see that if we have corporate initiatives where we're showing a ton of attention to it, then drawing back, then showing attention, a lot of times the employees don't really take it as seriously because they don't think we're as serious about it, right? And so you get that kind of, oh, they don't care. They'll find something new to care about here in a few weeks, so let's just let this ride, right? And so being consistent in that messaging and saying, hey, this is a core, core value for us, and how we execute it may change and may evolve, but at the end of the day, we're here to reduce our food waste by 2030. I think that's proven to be very effective for us in communicating those strategies with our employees. It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think the learnings that we already having through this project is that the employees have great ideas, and what we are trying to do with this pilot is to encourage them to do more, think outside the box. So that's what we are doing, and we are also trying to generate other materials like the videos experience, that we are very excited about this because it will share some very good stories around how this project was developed. So I think we are moving in the right track right now with this, but still more to do. But definitely we need to listen to our employees because they are there every day doing their job. So they are expert already. So definitely the best way to address these opportunities for improvement is listen to those ideas from their side.
Jeff, I would say in the years I've been doing sustainability work, when you get higher and it's more expensive, you need to look at sustainability as risk management and say, is there a regulation that's coming down the line that we're going to have to address? Are our competitors doing something different? Does the SEC now want me to report on things it didn't care about before? You need to be aware of those, and that will get the attention of the folks who hold the purse strings. So that's my advice.
Yeah, for me, last word is, I think it's not about what, it's about how. Because during pilot, it's either the staff excited and they do behavior change, you can see the result, but what after the pilot is over, and how do we sustain those behavior is the key. And from behavior science point of view, we need to understand the staff thinking in a different stage. If they are pre-compensation, means they haven't begun the behavior, and compared to the staff who already done this behavior for a while, you need to use different strategy to engage. So there are a lot of, you need to constantly understand your staff, just as John said, just understand and talking to them, look into their eyes to understand and motivate them to be creative. Thank you.
I'm so sorry to have to wrap us up here, but we are at time. But I'm sure our panelists would be happy to chat with anyone after this or share their contact information, because they're just such a wealth of information, and I'm sure lots of you out there are as well. So thank you all so much for attending our session. And Salma, did you have any last words you wanted to say?
Check out Kenny Captures. All the pictures out here are by him, so follow him on Instagram, iLead Engagement Strategy at Refed. Please connect with me. We're hiring. We're increasing by 10 headcount this year, so if you have questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. And I feel like thematically, we really heard a lot about inclusivity and equity in the organization, so I really implore you to employ those strategies in your organizations.
All right, thank you, everyone.